What is up, down, and sideways, all you beautiful individuals? It is another epi of League Unlock. Here I am, Mark, here with you beauties. And today we got to put a quick pause before we get to part 2 of our top 20 rankings at Worlds, because we got drama out the wazoo in matches on the Rift, off the Rift. We got the LTA North promotional tournament going on, and all the hubbub is about former, near MVP, top 5 top laner in the LCK Summit. Most recently playing on Astral eSports. They were matching up against Disguised, and we had a disaster class in broadcasting from Riot because we had 2+ hours of pauses in this series. They don't end up even finishing the series. They have to wrap up the next day. But the real story is during this very lengthy pause, you got to see Summit pull up a little YouTube VOD on his screen back there. Okay, that's fine. Oh, you're watching a League of Legends game. Oh, you're watching the game you're in right now. Apparently that's not allowed. Is that against the rules?
Yeah, of course that is not allowed. Oh my lord! Of all the things that could ever have gone on in the world that we live in League of Legends, where we have to have some remote play going on, you're gonna have technical difficulties, all those things. Never did it ever cross my mind that someone would be bold enough to say, you know what, I'm gonna use this time to go look at the actual game I'm playing in right now. No, he's not just hanging out in Discord. He's not, booting up Candy Crush and getting a quick, game and getting his dailies in or whatever. He's cheating. Hardcore cheating in the game at this point, and I think that it is absolutely astounding that he had taken this route, this choice of path to go down and to make his actions like this. And I can't believe that we're still at this point talking about it not being a full disqualification at that point from Riot.
Yeah, Astral's still going to play in this tournament, which will go later today. They just won't have Summit. Now, their sub, I believe, is a mid laner who's a streamer who has never played a pro game. So it'd be shocking if Disguise lose. But Astral even went further and had a statement in regards to Summit being, suspended indefinitely, really, and talks about, okay, they face significant challenges, including DDoS attacks, blah, 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 which, by the way, Disguised is also going through this at the exact same time. But I got to read the quote for some of them because it's insane. We acknowledge that amid the uncertainty, our player made a mistake by watching a stream during the pause. Just a random stream, didn't happen to be the game that we were actually playing. However, there was no bad faith or intent to gain an advantage. It was an unfortunate action that stemmed from an unsustainable situation. Why else would Summit be watching that game? Just to watch his highlight reels on Jax?
Yeah, what do you mean, you guys? He was just watching Double Lift, and it just so happened Double Lift is streaming it. It's stupid. That is so stupid. Even if you could try to worm your way through an explanation like that and have the organization take a stand with Summit on this and try to lessen it in any degree in the public stance is very disappointing. I think at this point it's one of these kind of doubling down even more so on this type of action. I'm very shocked. Do you think that any of the times the DDoS attacks are going on in the LCK, any of these guys said, you know what? Yeah, let me just pull up the game and cheat right here, right now. No way this excuse is going to fly. I can't believe that we're actually talking about this right now.
And again, I understand this is, in a remote setting, it's super annoying and challenging to be sitting there for 2 hours waiting. I don't think Riot was communicating at all in terms of what was actually going on, why there was such a long pause, yada, yada, yada. So both teams were on very unfortunate circumstance, but again, DSG weren't pulling up VODs to see. I mean, there's countless information you could get before a pause, right? There's no fog of war. You know everything. You know what summoner spells. You know what cooldowns. You know everything that's going to be going on that you obviously are not privy to in a normal game setting. So Astral probably going to be the end of the road here. But at the very least, we're talking about the LTA North promotional tournament more than we probably would have if this didn't happen.
I don't know if that's a good thing at this point for the LTA. I guess you take it good or bad and what you got to live with. But this is still pretty crazy. I think I remember going back to, 2015 MSI, you had problems with guys looking at the video, jumbotron that you had going on, displaying the game and getting information on the game state from there that you wouldn't have right from your own perspective in the game. So I understand that this is somewhat territory that's been gone over before, but man, oh man, never as bold like this, and to have it doubled down on with the organization backing it up is an extra bad eyesight to see.
And I'm pretty sure there should be referees for these remote events, because I heard someone mention in COVID the LCK had referees at every team house during matches, right? It seems pretty low resources to send a referee from a Riot HQ in LATAM or wherever they're playing out of for Astral, and then the same for Disguise. So there could have been solutions to avoid this. Riot is not, immune from fault here, but obviously, Summit. Come on, bro. Come on.
Absolutely. I think it's certainly one of those ones where there is some fault and some error on the side of the LTA and Riot and the way that things are organized, managed, handled, and everything else. But then on the individual side, just looking at Astral and looking at Summit, it is very, very disappointing to say the least.
It wasn't a DDoS attack or getting banned, but Los Ratones, oh no, finding themselves now in the lower bracket of the EMEA Masters for summer, which they were at the very last EMEA Masters before they won the whole thing. But it was a good-looking early game, but they lose to Misa in Game 3, who are the top seed from the TCL, and Tourney didn't have himself a great Lucian game.
No, I think the bot lane was certainly a struggle point for the squad in this one, and that's where it eventually ends up it being the drop series for Los Ratones. We knew this might be a possibility, and I think with kind of all the extra noise and what type of energy would have had to gone in behind the scenes, working through what are the plans for Los Ratones for next year, I think it's understandable to see the performance be a little bit more of a mixed bag than we have seen from them throughout the entirety of this year. Still got an opportunity to bounce back at this EMA Masters for the Los Ratones, so it's not all over and done just yet, but absolutely going to be one of these ones where then individually you're looking at Tourney, but I still think the rest of the group can sharpen themselves up, refresh, and be back in a better form later in this event.
And listen, they've already locked in some matchups against the LEC for next year because they won the first two EMEA Masters. So this is probably the least highest stakes for one of these events that they've had in their very brief organization's history.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing for me is going to be about, okay, is that full investment, that full lock-in, that an energy, is it there enough to refocus, regroup, regather yourself for this event and relaunch back in with that tenacity, with that energy, with that preparation that is necessary and has been one of the key strengths that has pushed Los Ratones as far as it has pushed them this year? Or is it simply going to be one of these ones where, again, as you outlined, it's been a fantastic year, record-breaking, ground-breaking, shattering, all sorts of things for this group. Is this simply just going, you know what, I'm pretty much done for the year, guys, type of thing? Or are they going to bounce back? So that's what I want to really see in this next matchup for these guys.
I'll tell you what feels pretty much done for the year is this entire Asia Invitational as we roll into day 2. It's more fiestas. It's more, I think, clearly players maybe not taking this tournament as seriously. And, I mean, why would you? Honestly, you're not going to Worlds. The cash prize for these players is not quite so high. Apparently, I think it was Doinbia saying their team's one of the few that are actually scrimming. People aren't even scrimming for this. They're just waiting to go to the off season, and that is why you get some serious type of fiesta gameplay that we're getting.
Some seriously unserious games,
exactly.
I think is the best way to describe what has been going on. Unfortunately, it seems to be one of these situations where, yes, it is extra cash, a brand new event, all sorts of things. It's not been enough to maybe move the needle as far as importance, as far as focus for these organizations, for the individual players. At the very least, none of these guys in any pauses, any breaks in between games are booting up the VOD to review it like old Summit is in the LTA one, so we can at least be thankful that we've got some organization, some type of discipline going on throughout this event to police that, which is crazy. You got to police something like that, but hey, that's what's going on thanks to Astral and Summit. back to the event and what we see here going through it. Yeah, I think that the player investment is not as high as you'd want to be seeing, and that's why you think you're seeing some of this. But frankly, it is a little bit disappointing when you do mention that NIP is one of the only squads scrimming, because I think that the opportunity that is here, right, that you aren't taking advantage of because you are checking out for the year, not invested in this event, whatever, you are missing out on that opportunity cost of having a good or even better than average scrim environment due to what teams are going to be available at this time.
And it's not like it's the full off season. There's no teams to scrim. You know, Worlds is around the corner, but if any of the Worlds teams are looking at these matches saying, yeah, we're going to skip that scrim with you guys. And if NIP is the only one doing it, well, they're not scrimming how to not throw around Barons, and apparently they're seeing something that's saying, yeah, Mel bot lane, that's what we're looking for, boys.
Oh man, what a apple to cut into on this one, because I don't know if this is one of those ones where maybe it's caramel candy coated on the outside and you're thinking it's all going to be great. You take that first slice into it and you're like, wait, this is the back half of a worm. What's going on here? That's what you found at the Baron Worm for NIP. I've never seen a game almost as fully in control as it was, to be as out of control as it was at the Baron fight and after the Baron
It's
fight.
just done after.
Never mind you're sprinkling in what happened with Mel in the bottom lane all the way throughout this game. Yeah, not the showing exactly that you needed from NIP.
And you know what's crazy? This whole tournament, I believe I got this right. We have 6 world champions at this event, including 3/5 of that 2019 FPX squad, Showmaker, Barreler there, and even Kingen, who had a fantastic showing actually on the Renekton against Viking eSports. But you got 6 world champions in this Mickey Mouse tournament, and I mean, you throw in MSI champions, Xiaohu, Breathe, Pace is in here. It's crazy how many talented individual players there are in this kind of laughable tournament.
I think there is a comment that is talking about the investment, right? That we did already just go over, that motivation for these players, how much they've bought in and invested their energy, their time, their focus. Doesn't seem like it's a whole lot at the end of the day when you're seeing the results that we are seeing at the event right now. And then on that flip side, I also want to say, this has got to be something that you can just keep in your back pocket. Just slot this one away if you're a Western fan, and anytime someone is coming at you for saying that one of your squads is in the top 20 in the world, and they're like, anybody, the 6, 7, 5, whatever from the LCK, LPL, LCP, they'd whoop you guys. Are you seeing this? You seeing these games? You think these guys are whooping anybody that is of the caliber of qualifying for the World Championship? Doesn't matter to me, the region. So I think that this is absolutely, a little unfortunate, because you would maybe want to judge it based off of the full effort, full buy-in, full force of these rosters, organizations, and from these regions. I don't think we're seeing that. And as a result, I think that this is absolutely one of those little feathers you can tuck in as a Western fan and say, okay, you know what? There's some ugly games all around the world. It's not just us that can stink it up,
Yeah, and it definitely does put a bit of a hamper on the idea of, like the 6th seed in the LCK could win the LTA, I'm not so sure, based on this. And I get, again, kind of a for-fun tournament, but really, maybe this will be a good little palate cleanser. It's like eating the 2-week-old leftovers that you had in the fridge, but that's all you've got to eat. And then Worlds comes around and you go, oh, now we've got a reservation at a nice restaurant. We're here for multiple times. It's going to make the Worlds games be even better, right?
I feel like at the very least, you're not wrong in the sense that it should be better. And I think that fans could be hungering for better at the end of the day. And maybe at some point we'll get delivered an event that we don't have to put that little asterisk on going, well, it was okay. Here's the improvements. Here's the changes right out of the gate type of one, where it is instantly, oh, this is good. This is exactly what people are looking for, asking for, giving you feedback for type of thing. But I'll chalk this tournament into the one that I hope to continue to see evolve and grow at this point, because this iteration has certainly done no favors to the LCK or LPL or even the LCP squads, I think, that are there. And it's only done wonders for the LTA and the LEC in comparison.
Hey, who knows? Maybe it'll evolve this tournament throughout, and teams will get some good gameplay. Seems unlikely, but it still is only day 2, and we'll talk about it again as it progresses throughout. But that is it today for League Unlock. Eric and Mark here with you. Absolute beauties. Thanks for hanging out with us as always, and we will catch you on that flippity flip.